and welcome to our presentation called PXE Hacking 101, from network boot to credential extraction. Firstly, let me introduce ourselves. As she told before, we are Danijela, Šantak, and Urbančič, and we come from CyberSec, a cybersecurity company based in Slovenia. We are both certified ethical hackers. Jean holds a lot of certificates, as you can see up there, and he is also qualified in many exercises such as lock shields and cross swords, if anybody knows those exercises. And I am at my bare beginnings with a futile wish to catch up with all his certificates. So first of all, let me give you a brief overview. What are we going to talk about? The pre-boot execution environment is an industry standard client-server interface that allows network computers that are not yet loaded with an operating system to be configured and booted remotely by an administrator. The PXE code is typically delivered with a new computer on a read-only memory chip or a boot disk and allows the client to communicate with the network server so that the client machine can be remotely configured and its operating system can be remotely booted. A PXE boot server is a server configured to allow computers to boot from it over a network, and it includes necessary components such as DHCP and TFTP servers. When discussing PXE, we need to address three characteristics. First, we have to keep in mind that not all NICs are the same. Many consumer-grade network cards don't have PXE capabilities. However, this is rapidly changing as advances make it simpler to integrate features in cheaper devices. So in data center grades, for the opposite cost, we can tell that PXE-capable NICs are standard. Second characteristics is that DHCP allows the client to receive an IP address to gain access to the network servers. There are two types of actors in DHCP. A DHCP server and a DHCP client. During the PXE boot process, the DHCP server responds to DHCP requests by providing necessary TCP IP parameters and facilitating subsequent communication required for booting from the network. And the third component is TFTP, which is a simple UDP-based protocol for receiving or sending a file, and it's easily implemented in firmware environments where resources are limited. TFTP has no directory listing, no authentication, no authorization. Therefore, you must know the exact path of the file you intend to download. So how does the PXE boot work? I will try to explain the PXE workflow as clearly as possible. First, the PXE process allows for the client to notify the server that it uses PXE. Second, if the server uses PXE, a list of boot servers with the available operating system is sent to the client. The client finds the boot server it needs and receives the file to download. The client then downloads the file using trivial file transfer protocol and executes it, loading the operating system. The network bootstrap program, called NBP, is downloaded by clients through a TFTP server after the DHCP server advertises the PXE boot server's IP address, and it is essential for booting the complete OS components. Ultimately, if the server is not equipped with PXE, it ignores the PXE code, preventing disruption in the DHCP and bootstrap operations. Next thing we have to address is the protocol when PXE boot process goes with iPXE and SCCM. SCCM is the acronym for System Center Configuration Manager, and the process goes this way. First, we select the boot device. The client, for example, a workstation, starts and checks its boot options. Then we manually select PXE boot. The system starts the PXE boot process. Then the iPXE bootloader starts, initializes the network card, and looks for a DHCP server. Third, the DHCP request and response follow. The client sends a DHCP request asking for an IP address and PXE boot information. The DHCP server responds with an IP address, gateway, and the location of the TFTP boot server. Fourth, downloading of the initial bootloader begins. The client uses TFTP to download the Windows Deployment Services Network Boot Program from the SCCM server. This is a Microsoft-specific bootloader that determines if the system is UEFI or legacy BIOS. SCCM is then contacted to download PXE boot files. There, the client fetches the pre-boot file from the server. The download of Windows setup file starts. Once pxeboot.com loads, it fetches boot.sdi and boot.wim as part of the Windows pre-installation environment image. The Windows setup environment is now ready for OS installation. As an explanation, SCCM is now called Microsoft Endpoint Configuration Manager, so the name now is changed to MECM, and this is a powerful system management solution for deploying operating systems, applications, updates, and security policies. Below are the components and their functions. When deploying an OS using PXE boot, the following process occurs. First, the client sends a PXE boot request via DHCP. Then the PXE-enabled distribution point provides the necessary boot files. The client downloads the boot image, and SCCM starts the task sequence to deploy the OS. And for the last slide, we have to meet the PXE boot and TFTP ports. In this part of the presentation, we will take an overview of the ports necessary for the operation of PXE and TFTP. But before we proceed with that, we have a little prize question for you. So, does anybody know when the first on-site DCTF event was organized? On-site, not online, on-site. Yes, this is the correct answer. Please come and take your reward after the presentation. Congratulations. So back to the ports and to the hacking part. Jean, the word is yours.
Thank you, Danijela, for this great introduction to PXE. Just a second. And okay, from theory to practice, although PXE offers a great convenience for remote booting and operating system distribution, it also has its drawbacks that attackers can exploit once they gain access to the internal network. Let's say unauthorized access, since the TFTP is lacks built-in security mechanisms like authentication or authorization. An attacker within the network can redirect or replace the original boot files. DHCP spoofing, an attacker can spoof the DHCP server, providing clients with incorrect PXE server and boot images that may contain malicious code. Lack of encryption and integration of vulnerabilities. So we will try and show you nothing of those, but how, well, I will talk about an extraction, how to extract credentials from PXE boot.var file. Yeah. Okay, just a second. Okay, so firstly, we always start with the basic network reconnaissance. So I already scanned the ports of the SCCM and the PXE. So the PXE typically use TFTP on port 69, DHCP on port 67 and 68. And SCCM can expose HTTP and HTTPS, SMB and RPC ports. So like we can see here, this is for the SCCM and this is for the PXE. So we already know that because the TFTP is open, that PXE is running on this host machine. So next thing, I will use the PXE TIFF. So the PXE is a program that allows the extraction of passwords from the operating system deployment functionality in Microsoft Endpoint Configuration Manager. This includes obtaining credentials such as network access accounts and passwords stored in MySummer collection variables. So if we try and find those paths in this PXE, we can see with here that we are asking the config manager for the location to download those media variables. And we can see here that we've got the .boot.var where the passwords are contained. And we can, with the next command, we can download it. Just I will need to change the name of this file. So let's say it's DCTF. So we've got those .boot.var file downloaded through the TFTP. So firstly, I just forgot that here the PXE TIFF already print out that the password is detected. So we can't just dump those credentials, but we need first the password to dump the credentials. So how do we get the password? It's pretty easy.
Just a second.
Okay, so again, we proceed with the PXE TIFF, and like this, we can get this hash, and we can crack this hash with, okay, we will copy it into the file and crack it with hashcat. Oh, okay, something's wrong, of course. Okay, so we've got the correct password on the end. It's a password. And if we try to dump now those credentials with this password, it's like, I think that. Okay, so because this tool uses Win32 crypt to retrieve password from MySummer, which is not available on non-Windows platforms. So if we try this with from the host. Yeah, okay. Okay, so we are trying this from the Windows host. We just make the same steps and download. Okay, so the transfer successful, and now we can just
This is the demo part of the show, so please forgive us. Do you see what he's typing up there? It's visible.
So we can see that we successfully dumped the network access account username, but it's not probably so interesting for like this one here. This is probably the password of one user, And if we try to spray these credentials through the network, you can use a lot of tools, but I'm using the NetExec. So if we try these credentials to spray it, does anybody know why this doesn't work? Sorry, I didn't hear you. Nope, nope. Nobody knows. Okay, well, I get the T-shirt. It's not the it's the domain admin. So if we try with the local admin, it should probably work. Yeah. Okay. So we can see here that the local administrator password was inside the PXE. So this is all from the. Yeah. Nisam še tam. This is everything for the demonstration, but I will talk a little bit about the mitigation of these problems. So the mitigation starts with reducing PXE exposure, disable when it's not needed. It's the first step. So restrict TFTP access via ACLS, so access lists, and isolate PXE networks with VLANs. So using only one VLAN for booting up, and on the same network, on the same VLAN where is PXE. The next one is monitor DHCP and TFTP traffic for anomalies, and for the CCCM part, avoid embedding plain text credentials in task sequence and use the strong authentication policies. So if we just go and look where we can do this in, sorry, okay, so okay, so this is the DCTF25 server. So if we go into the Microsoft Configuration Manager, and here on administration, we can see into the distribution points that we've got our distribution point made DCTF Picalab. If we open properties, okay, wait a little bit because it's a little bit slow. So, okay, we've got here the PXE setup, and here we can see that this password, we already crack it. So make sure that we use the strong password to, if we use the PXE, use the strong password too, so yeah, to protect it, yes. Okay, that's everything from my side. If anybody got some questions about the PXE, now's the time. I always suggest 3 Slovenian words and some numbers.
Not words on random text lists.
Yeah.
Maybe Slovenian words not connected with
with CSKJ, yeah, not connected with CSKJ, so. So. Yeah, we've got a little bit of time, so just go slow.
If I understood correctly, you cracked password with brute force, so you were comparing with a list of known passwords.
Yeah.
Okay, but is the SCCM using storing passwords when doing hash irreversible, or there is also some options that they're using reversible, which is even easier to crack?
Sorry, can you repeat it? I did not understand.
The CCM, when it's storing its password, it's doing the hash, but you can convert passwords to hash with different techniques. Is it using reversible or irreversible types, or is it possible?
Well, probably it's possible, but I didn't go that far. Well, I would, for the Active Directory, I would correct this with the labs. Let's say, so I've got the labs and the PXE boot use one password, and then when the group policy comes in, the labs is pushed in, and for the local administrators, the password will change. So, yeah, that's fine.
Any other questions? Yes, any other questions? Yes, no,
Okay.
maybe?
Okay, so I give him back the word to Danijela.
Okay. At the end of our presentation, first I would like to thank DragonSec for inviting us. And we would like to invite you also to connect to our CyberSec team if you are eager to learn more about ethical hacking. We have some ethical hacking courses. As you can see, the one up there is advanced ethical hacking. And we have many other ethical hacking courses that can be also customized for your needs. So if you have any possibilities, ideas, you want some practice, you can come to us, ask us. We can customize the lessons to your specific needs. This would be all from our side. Thank you very much for attending our presentation, and I wish you good luck with your CTF later on. Bye-bye.